What's going on, guys? This is the MMA Complex. My name is Josh.
And I'm James.
And it is December 12th, Wednesday, 2018. Wednesday night. Kind of chilly Wednesday night here. But all in all, we just had some fried chicken and some wedges
Very
and all
good
that.
dinner. Dude, every time I come to your house, I feast out here, man.
Yeah, I know. You come at a good time. We usually, we have it set up so we're, our recording session is around the same time as our dinner time, and then we make sure that you're coming over, that we know you're coming over. We have
By
a good
extra,
dinner.
Jim's
We have a
coming
good
over.
dinner. We have a good dinner planned.
Well, I appreciate that.
But good night of fights last weekend. Good night of fights this coming weekend. Last weekend, UFC 231, Holloway versus Ortega. Great card overall. We're at home watching it.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching the Lomachenko fight on one TV. You had the UFC 231 on the other TV. And it was cool. Good relaxing night of fights, man.
Yeah,
It was
man,
like,
it's a
we hadn't
rarity.
done that in a while, so.
Yeah.
But the fights were great. Thiago Santos defeating Jim Manuwa knockout. That was a crazy fight right there. Hakeem Dawandu defeating Kyle Bochniak. Gunnar Nelson just brutal with his victory over Alex Oliveira.
Yeah.
Landing an elbow that cut him open, blood squirting everywhere, and just automatically sinks in I think it was a rear naked choke.
Yeah, it was a choke, yeah.
Big win for Gunnar Nelson. He's been out for a little while. Alex Oliveira was on has been pretty active, decent run, heavy top contender, and just took care of business quick. Valentina Shevchenko defeating Joanna Jędrzejczyk to become capturing the vacant flyweight title and becoming the flyweight champ. Great win by Valentina. Let's go start right there. What did you think about that fight? We were both anticipating that fight. That was one of the fights that we were obviously one of the main events, the co-main event, but we were looking forward to that one. What'd you think?
Yeah, well, mind you, that day I had an edible and I was in La La Land, and I think during that fight I had fallen asleep. But I rewatched the fight on YouTube. They usually put it on right away.
You really didn't miss anything, huh?
No, I didn't really miss it. But I in my mind, I thought I missed something, so I rewatched the last round.
Yeah,
and I really didn't. But I mean, I think it's safe to say that everyone kind of anticipated the result. I mean, Valentina Shevchenko was a big, strong girl who already had a win over Joanna.
Mm-hmm.
And Joanna, she's a good striker, but when you go against someone that's a better striker than you, and that can pretty much suffer takedowns and make you fight her fight, I think 10 times out of 10, lose that battle. And I think for a long time, Valentina was the queen without her crown.
Yeah.
And that night she deserved that title. But I think one thing that I noticed that's kind of important or kind of weird that the UFC never mentioned the former champ at all during that broadcast or leading up to that fight, like Montana.
Montana.
Yeah, they never really mentioned her.
They didn't. It's almost like she never,
existed.
Really, sure. Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. Yeah, I didn't even
crazy.
think about it until now.
Yeah.
They didn't mention it not once.
It was like
There's a brand like a vacant title, completely new
yeah.
division.
New division, yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. It's a good point. I didn't even think about that. They did not mention it once. But yeah, no, the fight was great. I thought Valentina she did really well. She was countering Joanna's attacks, and she was landing some attacks on her own, landing some crazy spinning back kicks and just combinations. It was like anytime Joanna sprung forward with some combos, Valentina was like a pit bull, man. She just threw 5-6 shots, bam, 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 and it was impressive performance by her.
Yeah, it just seemed like she knew what was coming.
Yeah, she knew what was coming. It seemed like that.
It didn't phase her at all.
No. And I mean, she was the counter striker that night, and I mean, everything was on point. You could just tell she was not losing that fight. You could see it in her body language.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, the fall of Joanna kind of reminds me of Ronda. Ever since I lost to Rose, she's dropped 3 in a row now.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, 2 in a row, and then she won one.
And she won one.
She's back in the loss column. It's just like she can't get 2 wins in a row, and here's someone that was considered the best female striker, and
Yeah.
And now she's becoming like a gatekeeper almost.
It's yeah, she's that number one contender fighter that, everybody has to get the title. But she's slowly becoming that. It's tough, because she can't beat Rose and she can't beat Valentina. So she's gonna be that. Well, I mean, I guess what Uriah Faber land, where she's just kind of like
Yeah, like
coasting right at the top, right at the
hoping the
top.
champ like loses her title.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, I feel bad for Joanna because she developed this persona of like, I'm the shit, and I'm the champ, and she was dubbed. Her nickname was Joanna Champion, Jacek, and I mean she was
Yeah,
a little bit of Connor, but not that much. She was flirting with the whole Connor style
yeah.
of promoting, and now it's like, you drop,
People
you have,
figured it out.
yeah, you have one out of your last what four, you one win out of your last 4 or 5.
Hmm.
It's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough to be in
it's
that
crazy.
spot.
It's
So,
crazy.
yeah, no, it was a great fight. Great win by Valentina. It was well deserved. I think everybody was rooting for her to at least get a shot at that
Hmm.
title and get that title. So, big win by her. And then you had the main event: Max Holloway, Brian Ortega. I mean, it went 4 rounds, nearly complete 4 rounds. Brian Ortega did not come out for the fifth round. It was a doctor's stoppage. His eye was closed up. He was basically just eating shots. I think his gas tank ran out basically at that point, eating shots and not really throwing anything back. Um, Wild fight early in the first 2 to 3 rounds. So what'd you think, man? This was the big fight we're all waiting for the night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with both guys. That Ortega showing like heart of gold.
Mm-hmm.
I think too much for heart for his own good. I'm glad that they stopped that fight. I think
Yeah.
Brian agreed with that. We don't want to see a fighter get hurt. I mean, he could always fight another day. He's so young; he can come back easy. Max Holloway he's a beast. He's been gone for quite a while. He comes back and he looked strong. He was the stronger fighter, the bigger fighter. Uh, every time Ortega threw a combination, Max, did more and some. Um, but I think Ortega kind of shined in the third round. I think it gave him some confidence, but I think it was too much for. I mean, Max Holloway's combination was too much for Ortega.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I didn't like is I think in between the third and fourth round, Ortega's I think coach Hannah Gracie was giving him boxing advice. And like when you have your jiu-jitsu coach giving you boxing advice, it's not a good thing.
That is true. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. It's uh, I think that when Ortega couldn't take down Max, and was kind of forced to fight
Mhm.
Holloway's fight. I think it was the beginning of the end for Ortega.
Yeah. I mean, we knew if it was going to be a stand-up fight, the output that Max puts out, neither one of them are necessarily knockout artists. They're more volume punchers, or unless they hit you at the right spot.
He's so accurate too,
Yeah,
Holloway.
and they're both yeah. Max is crazy accurate, uh, but yeah, no, it was what we kind of expected in the fight. I think both of us had Max for this win. People were asking me who I thought they should pick. I had one friend who bet 200, and I was like, and he bet it on Max, he wasn't sure. I was like, I told him I think he'll be okay, like because I just felt like jujitsu. Yeah, Brian had the edge, but it was getting Max there that was going to be the trouble. Brian doesn't really necessarily have wrestling, and then since that pretty much, and the size factor of Max might be difficult for Brian to get him to the ground.
Plus, Max been there before. He's been in 5 round
Yeah,
fights
he's been there
with the
before.
best of the best.
5 round fights, best of the best. Then it becomes a stand up fight. Yeah, they both like to get hit, but Ortega has been known to get hit, a lot more, I would say, than Max is known to be hit. And the output and the cardio of Max and just everything. Max is a total package: height, weight, body size, everything. Stand up, jiu-jitsu, whatever. He's just he's a tough cardio. He's a
I
tough
mean,
outing for anybody.
yeah, and then Max, like the one impressive thing about Max that he switched his stance from orthodox to southpaw, and he can fight
Yeah,
like both stances like
yeah.
nothing. Like I think he fights as good as orthodox than does southpaw, or
Hmm.
vice versa. He's really impressive. Like, the way he can like switch stands and like
Yeah,
throw combinations is insane.
yeah.
He's a total package.
And he reminds me of like those young contender boxers. You know, doesn't he have that
Mm,
look? He just has that
yeah,
look of like a Spanish boxer, even though he's Hawaiian. But he
yeah,
had, you know, he
he
has,
does.
yeah, he has that like, I don't know, which I think it's familiar. It's a familiar look that even I think casual fans I think can gravitate towards. Like they see him and they can see him as a fighter. He looks like a fighter.
Yeah, I think Max Holloway can be the next superstar
I
in
think he can.
MMA, just because like the way he can promote himself. His son helps a lot too,
Yeah.
having his son, and then like the way he can come up with catchphrases like nothing.
Yeah, and
Um,
he's very people like. He's got a great
he's likable,
personality.
yeah,
Um,
and he's willing to defend that title.
and I think Brian too. That's it sucks that they're in the same division, but Brian's another guy. I think both of them. I think are
Yeah,
these crossover athletes that are up at the top of it, especially Max, because Max is familiar with. He's great at promoting himself, and he's familiar with pop culture, and he's friends with Drake, and he knows shoes. He's a big
yeah.
shoe collector. He he gets it in a lot of ways,
Hmm.
and you can see it by
Dude,
his
he
son. His
was.
son freaking gets it too.
Oh yeah, dude, and he was courtside at the Raptors game the next day, and
Yeah,
they
he
called him out,
he
and
knows how to do the superstar athlete thing.
yeah,
He knows like a lot of fighters and a lot of like they like to be they're reclusive. They like to
yeah.
they don't like to get out much.
Oh,
They know
Max,
Max.
his son especially, his son, like Mini Blast.
Yeah, he knows how to play. A lot of them have like families, and yeah, Max has a son, but it's he's also like he's a young guy, he's a young dad,
Yeah.
and I think he might be single,
No, he is single, and I think
which
that's one thing that's so likable about him. He's a single father, and he adores his
yeah,
son.
yeah, because I
And
know
his son has a personality too.
because I don't know his personal business, but I know I think he was married for a little bit while,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's a single father.
And then
Yeah,
he got a dime piece of a girlfriend, which was at his last fight, and I was looking forward to seeing her, but she wasn't there, so I'm
yeah,
assuming
yeah.
that maybe he's single on the market again. Because it was like some Hawaiian model. She was like nice. Um, but yeah, no, he gets it. He gets the whole superstar.
And it,
Another person who does it really well, I think, is Tyron Woodley, which we'll get to in a little bit. I
yeah,
think he does it really
and
well.
aside from his self promotion, I mean, he's willing to defend that title. He's not looking for super fights. He wants to defend his title, and he's
Hmm.
fighting the best of the best. So
Yeah,
I mean, and his fighting style is really exciting to watch. So it doesn't
yeah,
hurt the cause.
yeah. So yeah. I mean, it was a great event, great fight, great champ defense and a victory on
I
one
mean,
night.
if Conor fights Max, I mean, I'd have to pick Max in that fight.
I'd probably pick Max too. At this point, because Max has developed since then, and even though it wasn't that long ago, it's a lot happens in a few years. So, yeah, I would probably put Max as a favorite. I was surprised, which we were surprised to learn later on, huh? That that Max was actually the underdog in this fight,
Yeah, it's
which is
crazy
crazy. I mean, but I didn't even check
because of the hype that Ortega had, undefeated fighter. You know the way he finished Edgar and
yeah.
the crazy submission.
I'm assuming that it wasn't like a big difference. It was probably fairly even.
Plus, the layoff, and then what happened last time with his weight cut.
Yeah,
I
but
think they have
still,
still.
if I
I
would have known
mean,
that, I would have probably
bet it.
bet
Yeah,
some money on that.
yeah,
Like I didn't know that. I'm like,
yeah. That's
but
guaranteed money for you.
yeah, that was guaranteed money. Um, I want to say guaranteed, but it's pretty
Yeah,
guaranteed.
yeah.
Pretty good guarantee. But yeah, a great event, man. That was a great night of fights. Really really awesome to just kind of chill and watch those fights. We kind of just saw some breaking news regarding Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman. I guess there is about agreements that have been sent to each fighter. It looks like that's going to be the next fight for Tyron Woodley. We all thought it was going to be Colby Covington. Kamaru Usman just posted up about agreement signed by him. He's just waiting on the champ. It looks like that's going to be the next fight. I don't know. What do you think? Feel
Um,
bad for Colby Covington?
Not at all.
No.
Um, yeah, not at all. Especially, yeah.
At this
I,
stage in the business, it's
I,
like interim titles don't mean anything.
yeah, and then
Titles don't mean
if
anything.
you're gonna wait when you have the opportunity, then it's gonna slip you by.
Yeah.
Um,
Usman's been active.
yeah,
He's not waiting around.
and I think it's. I mean, it's sad to say. I think Dana White's kind of banking on Usman to beat Woodley. I think he dislikes
I
Woodley
think
a
we all know
lot.
that. I would think we all know that Dana's not the biggest Tyron Woodley fan for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's almost like it's reminiscent to like Tito Ortiz back in the mid two
Yeah,
thousands.
which is unfortunate because I think Tyron does a lot of good things, and a lot of he does a lot on his own side, like in his own time. He does a lot of good stuff
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean, like
community and all that, and
yeah,
self promoting. There's not that many fighters out there that promotes themselves like he does.
yeah. Like he has a chair in TMZ where he can
Yeah,
promote
he does
his
his own
fights
show on
there.
TMZ.
He has his record. Like he has a lot of hip hop friends. He's in the hip hop inner circle, so he
He's
can
acting.
promote the UFC there. He
He's
can bring a whole new audience to the UFC
yeah.
slash MMA
He's
for whatever
acting.
reason. Yeah, he's acting too. So whatever reason, Dana's not cool with them, which is unfortunate because I think he could bring a lot of new
Yeah,
fan base to the sport.
it is unfortunate. You got somebody who fights guys. He's
He just fought Darren Till.
he just fought. He just took
I don't
out
know.
Darren Till.
I don't know how Dana can say that he
Yeah.
doesn't fight often. He just fought him back in September, right?
When was it? I thought it was it September? Was
I
it a
think
year ago
so. It
already?
was before
I thought it was like
Halloween.
January.
No, remember we went to that event, cover that event, that amateur event, and we were watching it with Raf.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
No, I think September, right before Halloween.
Yeah, but no, yeah. Tyron. I mean, Tyron's had surgery. I think he's took care of surgeries since then. Um, which I get it. If you're wanting to promote fights and you want title fights, it's really just because they want title fights on cards. And
Yeah,
since
but that's the UFC's fault
that's
for
a
not
UFC's fault.
for having so many events and not and having other stars in one
Yeah.
card, and it's not Tyron's responsibility for them not having a main event. That's the
No,
UFC's.
he's
And
basically almost cleared out the division.
yeah,
He's only got maybe a handful of guys left. I mean, the guy's a great champion. There's nothing. I didn't like him a whole lot at first. Not that I disliked him, but I just didn't care for him too much. And then like I learned to appreciate the guy, and I like him.
yeah, same
It's
here.
been like so it's like, but Dana still doesn't back a lot of his champions. He just doesn't.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
crazy.
Even Max, I think I don't even think he fully gets behind Max. Like someone like Max, they should put like making a like put that guy out there. Like really, really put that guy out there. And I don't know. I just feel like they get behind him during fight week, and then that's about it. Like
Well, I think it's hard to get behind one fighter when you have so many events going on.
but they're champions at least.
I think
The
I think
title
the
holders.
UFC goes out of their way to promote a guy like Conor because he brings the most business. But with other fighters or other champs, it's like they don't even have the time.
Hmm.
Like this weekend's card is not even being promoted.
It's not at all.
So I mean, it's hard for the UFC to focus on other guys
Even on their
when
side,
they
like I was
have so
telling you,
many
like
events.
even on their social media page, I don't see anything for the fight this weekend.
Yeah,
It's the last FS1 card,
it's a Fox card actually.
Fox card.
Yeah,
It's the last Fox card. It's you got Kevin Lee at Ala Quinta, and it's a solid card. I don't know why they're not promoting it. There's nothing going on, and the only thing I can think of, maybe they don't want to promote Fox, and they just want it. They want to forget about this one, roll on to the next. Let this one do what it does on cable or TV or whatever, and then that's it.
but I mean with the Fox card, especially on the Fox, Big Fox, I think the network itself promotes the fight, so this is a
Yeah.
much needed promotion. But I just think it's too many cards, and then
It is
focus on one
way too
fighter.
many cards, but yeah, I agree. Way too many cards, but it's like even I guess on their social media, they're not doing anything for the fight, nothing. So it's like I don't know. I guess on the UFC's end, do they even really care with this one? Or are they purposely going out of their way not to promote this fight?
Right.
So yeah, that's what's going on with Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman. We'll wait to see on that and when the card's going to be announced. Talking about cards and switch rounds and all that stuff, involving also Tyron Woodley too. UFC 233, which is supposed to be in Anaheim in January, is officially canceled. Um, the main event with Cejudo and Dillashaw was moved to the Brooklyn event, which was at the ESPN, right? The first
Yeah,
ESPN
ESPN.
card.
Yeah.
So they're moving that over to that card. They moved a bunch of a couple of those fights over to that card already. The Ariana Lipinski and Joanne Calderwood, I think, fight got moved over to that card too. There's still a few fights on that card that haven't found a home yet. But from what we're gathering, it's basically just they moved the main event and they couldn't find another suitable main event, and nothing else was lining up. That was going to be a draw, so they basically just canceled the event, and they're going from UFC 232, which is a Jones and Gus fight, and they're skipping over that and going to 234. So that they're not even like rebranding 234 or 233. They're just going to keep it 234. So basically, like all the other cards that canceled, which I think there's about two or three others. They're just skipping right over it and just continuing like it happened, but it didn't happen. So, what do you think about? Is this bad business by the UFC? It's not a good start to 2019.
I mean, it goes back.
Canceled fight.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying before about there's too many cards. I mean, they needed a main event. Tyron Woodley couldn't do it because of his thumb. They wanted to come out with the first ESPN with a bang and put a title fight on there, just like UFC on Fox 1. So they moved over Cejudo and TJ. I mean DJ. No, TJ. Sorry, TJ over to Brooklyn, which is unfortunate because TJ is
he's a SoCal guy.
He's a SoCal guy, and Henry Cejudo, grew up in Inglewood,
which is a SoCal guy.
Yeah,
this doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, I mean he's a Mexican American.
Yeah,
a lot of Hispanic people. So that fight in LA made a lot of sense. Or in Orange County,
Dillashaw did really well last time at the Staples Center.
Yeah, so but they needed a main event, so they thought a title fight would be good for ESPN. That's it. And now it's all because so many fights.
It's title. They only care about title fights. They only care about putting pay-per-views with title fights, and it's just way too many cards. That's it. That's what it comes down to. It's like it doesn't make sense that Dillashaw and Cejudo fight was perfect for LA. It was perfect for Anaheim, I guess.
Yeah,
but perfect. Both SoCal guys, everything. Like yeah. Last time they were out here, Dillashaw did great, way better than expected. And it was going to be another repeat, most likely. So, and then they canceled the whole fight, canceled the whole card because they wanted. Yeah, it's so dumb. It's just the bad business. It's like nothing's going to change. It's still a ton of cards, and they're still only caring about interim titles and title fights, and that's most likely why because they were going to cancel that card, and they fucked up. That's why Dana is going on Twitter probably and talking shit about Tyron Woodley for not being able to step in when they wanted him to step in to cover their asses on that January card and the Anaheim card. So I'm sure it all revolves around that whole cancellation.
Yeah.
Why this beef is reigniting again.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's what happens when you do bad business. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but it's unfortunate.
It doesn't make any sense. I talk about also in the news. So you had Jones is cleared to fight. That was a big news right there. He was cleared. We all knew he was going to get cleared, but it was made official.
I think it's a temporary license, right?
Yeah, it's a temporary license, but it was made official, so the 232 is good to go. There's some statements out there by John. You guys can all find that on online. Some good interviews with Andy Foster. I think he did like a press scrum, a couple of one-on-one interviews. So you could probably find that out there also. Is because it revolved around the commission and also USADA, and he actually took some shots at USADA, which is on how they can reduce sentences. They make basically making deals with violators. You know,
Yeah.
like how are you? He was saying that basically they could do a better job of regulating the fighters than USADA because they're the ones out there making deals with fighters to snitch on other fighters, and it's just like, how is that
Yeah,
beneficial to anybody?
and he's right because I remember when the USADA program first came out, they were saying, first offense is 2 years or second offense is 4 years. This is John Jones. I don't know how many years. I mean, how many offense times the offense, and then what happens to him? He gets a slap in the wrist. I
Yep.
mean, that whole 2 year, 4 year, third year, and then third time banned for life. That's just a scare tactic.
Yeah.
They were never serious about that. I mean, USADA's become a joke. And as far as John Jones is hearing, I think this is his last hurdle that he had to go through before he can officially come back. And
Mm-hmm.
now that he has that all that behind him, he's ready to come and fight Alexander. And that's gonna be one hell of a fight. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. Maybe we could have it here at the house, huh?
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, we'll do it here. Probably have like a baby around that time, but
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know when is if the due date's next weekend.
Oh, it's crazy.
So maybe by the next episode, I might be a father by the next episode. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Well,
If he's gonna be early,
you are
if he's
a
gonna, I'm gonna be
father,
a father. Yeah, if he's gonna be early, if he's gonna be late.
right now you're a father, but like next week you have be a father with a baby in your arms.
Yes. So we'll see how soon he shows up. But the 22nd's the due date, so we'll see how that
That's
goes.
crazy.
I know it's already next weekend.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
Well, what else? You had regarding
Connor's
USADA.
coach. Oh,
Oh, we got a couple of stories. So staying, I guess, for USADA for right now. Um, I don't know if you looked up any of the test results that went missing, or some of the issues regarding one of Brock Lesnar's tests
oh yeah.
that USADA came out saying that it was
It was the internet went down or crashed.
yeah,
Crashed.
they came out with some excuse. People are crying conspiracy and foul, and which, I mean, I'm
Can't
pretty
blame
sure it's
him.
I can't blame it. It's
I mean,
Brock Lesnar, man.
Brock's like a Mayweather. Like he brings that viewership,
Yeah.
man.
And people are watching that, his results like a hawk. They're waiting for each result to come
But
out.
I don't know how that's even going to work out. If Brock to sign a new deal with the WWE.
Yeah. How does he look? Have you seen him? Has he wrestled at
a
all?
drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, his physique, he looks just chubby.
Yeah. I can imagine.
He's not defined like how he used to.
Not all big and solid. He's
Not at
yeah.
all.
Yeah. I think
He just signed a new deal with the WWE, so I don't know how that's gonna happen.
if it's gonna happen.
If it's gonna happen,
Interesting.
but I mean, the fact that his body change tells you something too.
Yeah.
Like why would he stop taking his words?
Yeah. Which if he's not gonna fight, why does he? Yeah.
Because,
So I say the fight happens. I say the fight happens.
I don't know how they go through that Vince thing.
I don't know. Maybe they'll just give him this one and then he goes back to WWE. Probably, most likely, because what's his name's out, right?
Roman Reigns has
Roman Reigns is
leukemia,
out,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's why Brock's on that deal.
A couple of things before we go, before we get to fight picks. Actually, you had John Kavanagh coming out saying that he doesn't want Conor necessarily to fight anymore. That he doesn't like to see him, take damage. That he's going to have to, like Conor's going to have the right matchup, and have to really give him good reasons to corner him and to be out there with him. I guess maybe Kavanaugh's calling into question Conor's decision making, maybe his dedication to
The sport.
I wouldn't say I guess a sport. Yeah, I guess in a way, I think he's calling out Conor and saying that if he's not going to take everything seriously, and train hard and take fights, the right fights, and show up, and put in the work, that he doesn't want to corner him anymore, basically. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Can you imagine Conor without John Kavanagh in his corner?
I could. I mean, the fact that he would say that, it's kind of dumb because yeah, he lost a Khabib fight, but I've seen plenty of fighters take way more damage.
Way more damage.
I mean, Conor didn't take that much damage. I see it as Cameron just wants him to be that undefeated fighter to make him look good.
Yeah.
It's that's dumb. And then by him saying that he wants to see Conor with a good matchup, meaning a winnable fight. He
Yeah.
wants to be a coach to a guy that wins.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Conor is too smart to take fights where he's not prepared. I think it was just eventually Conor was going to go against one of these beasts at 155. Like it was
Mm,
something that he couldn't avoid,
no.
and we all knew the outcome if that ever happened.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with him not taking the sport seriously. It has to do with him fighting a better fighter that night.
Yeah.
And Conor can come back and beat Khabib. Who knows? But just because he lost doesn't mean that
Doesn't mean it's an and for Connor. It's like,
he's a less dedicated fighter. That's
yeah.
absurd.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know really what Kavanaugh's
He
thinking in
looks
that
bad. I
sense.
think he looks bad in that
I think he looks bad in the statement. It's like just I think because in a lot of ways they don't keep in contact. It's basically all the contact is on Connor and Connor's court. Like he only calls Kavanaugh when he wants when he's ready to train and when he's ready to be to get into the gym. Other than that, they don't really speak a whole lot. So I think there's not a whole lot of communication going on. I would say is probably the big issue.
Yeah, well, he should talk to Conor before he goes on
Yeah, and does
like in the
interviews.
public, yeah, and say something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I couldn't imagine Connor with anybody else. He's always been the type of like I'm going with the team and the people around me that have got from the beginning.
True, but when that person is not loyal to you, then I can
Yeah.
see Conor not be loyal to that person either.
Yeah. And I don't think Connor's. Yeah, I think the Connor lost to Khabib because it was a striker versus grappler,
It's a
and
bad style matchup.
the best of the best in each of their respective styles, and it was a bad matchup. It's not a bad matchup, it's just not an easy matchup for sure. It was the worst matchup you could possibly get, and it was the
Yeah.
toughest matchup you could
But
possibly
when he
get.
loses, this doesn't mean it has nothing to do
No,
with his dedication.
no, not at all.
I mean, fighters lose fights all the time.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean they're less dedicated. It's
and
you lose a fight. That's it.
and the year before that was all Mayweather. So it's like
Yeah.
he's been it was 2 years away from the sport, which I'm sure had a part of it. You're fighting probably one of the best fighters to ever compete in the UFC, and your first time back, it's not an easy task. And yeah, he lost,
Plus the
but
pressure
doesn't
he puts on
yeah, and
himself.
plus the pressure, the promotion, and all that stuff. So it's what comes what happens. So can he come back and beat Khabib? Well,
Sure, he
probably,
can.
sure.
Yeah.
Can he probably
It's not impossible.
can he take on Ferguson and probably beat Ferguson? Yeah, I'm sure. I'd probably
Yeah.
favor him over Ferguson actually. And then, yeah, so there's all that. So it's all I get it. It depends on he wants to see Connor dedicated. I get it because you don't want to see flat-footed,
I don't
slow
know.
Connor. But
I think he's dedicated as ever.
Yeah.
I think when he puts his mind to something, he's dedicated. Like right now, he's doing the whole whiskey tour. He's dedicated to that and he's killing it. And I think when it comes to a fight, it's the same way. It's the same thing. He's
It's the same
dedicated to
thing.
that fight camp. He puts himself. He does the work and he comes prepared.
Yeah,
But sometimes we don't lose. Like we don't win all the fights, and I don't know.
I get it. I completely agree. Let's get to fight picks. We got a lot of fights going on this weekend. You have Invicta on the 15th. Jenu Frey versus Grusander 2. That's on UFC Fight Pass. You have 2 Bellator events. You have one on Friday. It's a Bellator and USO show. It's Primus versus Chandler. That's on DAZN, Paramount Network. You have Bellator 213, I'm sorry. McFarlane versus Letourneau. That's a great card right there.
Ooh,
The Hawaii fight. It's Bellator in Hawaii. Their big fight in Hawaii. Alima McFarlane defending her title against Valerie Letourneau. And you got the debut of Leona Machida on that card. And also you have on the 15th, you have Lee versus Ayakinta on UFC on Fox 31, which is the last Fox card. Let's go with the Bellator Hawaii card. Let's go over this one. You have King Mo versus Liam Nagiri on the card. You have Liam Gracie versus Ed Ruth. Rafael Carvalho versus Leota Machida. And Alima McFarlane versus Valerie Letourneau.
God damn, what a card!
Yeah. You have Neona Dung versus Kona Oliveira kicking off the main card. I don't know. These guys are 1-1. I don't even know why they're on the main card. let's go with King Mo versus Liam Nagiri. Who do you have?
McGurry.
Liam Nagiri. King Mo needs a win because he has not been on a good streak as of late. Neither has Liam Nagiri. They both need wins right now. I'll probably go with King Mo wrestling because if anything, that's Liam Nagiri's Achilles right there. But everything else, Liam is probably better than King Mo. So we'll see how that fight goes. Liam Gracie versus Ed Ruth. This is the opening round of the welterweight Grand Prix.
Ed Ruth.
Ed Ruth. I'm going Ed Ruth. Friend of the show, former guest of the show, Ed Ruth, for sure. Rafael Cavallo versus Lyoto Machida.
I'm going with Machida.
Going Machida. I'm gonna go with Machida too. I think he takes it and wins his Bellator debut against the former champ. You have Alima McFarland versus Valerie Letourneau.
I love you, Alima, but I'm going with Valerie.
You're going with Valerie? Yeah. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Valerie in this one.
I'm going
just because experience, and I think if there's one weakness in Lima's game is her striking.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And I think Valerie is a better striker. I mean, Lima has slick jiu-jitsu, but I like Valerie's wrestling to counter that jiu-jitsu. So I'm picking Valerie. Plus her experience.
I completely. It's not a bad. If you're looking at this as a professional,
you know, I am. I'm trying to break down the fight.
No bias. No bias.
I try. I mean, she's a good friend of ours.
She's a very good friend of ours. Yes. No, I completely agree. I completely agree. If Valerie had any strengths in this fight, that's what it would be. Halima, she's tough. She's a dog. She has not as technical striker, but she's not afraid to throw up hands. Wrestling is decent, and her jiu-jitsu is
great.
Better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with her as a hometown girl. I'm gonna go with Alima. I say she takes it in her in Bellator Hawaii because it'd be sad if she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going with Alima. I say she remains undefeated, 9-0 after this card. It's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that one. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I gotta watch it because I don't have DAZN anymore. So I'm like, gotta figure out how to watch that one. Bellator 2. Bellator. I mean, UFC on Fox 31. Or let's go with the other Bellator card to take a look at that one real quick. Alejandra Lara, former guest on the show, versus Juliana Velasquez. You have Derek Campos, Sam Cecilia. You have Daniel Crawford versus AJ McKee. You have Javi Ayala versus Frank Mir. And Brett Primus versus Michael Chandler on that card. That's not a bad card at all. That's on Friday night. Make sure you guys catch that one. And then UFC on Fox 31, Lee versus Iaquinta 2. Jim Miller versus Charles Oliveira kicking off the main card. Who do you have?
Charles Oliveira.
I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira too. I say he takes it. Miller has been on a decent run as of late.
Yeah.
So, he's kind of having a little bit of resurgence in his career, but I'll go with Charles Oliveira to kind of take the victory here. Maybe bounce back. Rob Font, Sergio Pettis.
Sergio Pettis.
I'll probably go Sergio Pettis too. That's an interesting one right there. You have Edson Barbosa versus Dan Hooker.
Barbosa.
I'll go Barbosa too. Yeah, as long as you keep Dan Hooker off of him and avoid any close contact fights, Barbosa is just all about space.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. Kevin Lee versus IL Quinta.
Al. I went with Al.
You're gonna go with Al?
Yeah. I mean, he went 5 rounds with the champ.
You did.
And he's a durable fighter. I think
fairly even styles too.
Yeah, I just think he's a dog in there, and I think he can overwhelm Kevin Lee.
I think so too.
Plus, he has Sarah Jiu-Jitsu, which is great.
This is a tough one. Kevin Lee. I'll go Kevin Lee. We'll go split. Fuck
All right.
it. Kevin Lee. I'm gonna go Kevin Lee. I say he land. I think his striking might he might catch Al with something on the striking. Um, maybe just edge him out in the decision. I'll probably go Kevin Lee.
All right.
All right, that's our show for this weekend. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Go to MMAComplex.com for all things MMA Complex.
And follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James, MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all under the one name, MMA Complex. Big fights this weekend. I'm really looking forward to the Bellator cards and the last UFC card. So Josh and I will be back next week to break down all the big fights over this past weekend. And so until then, enjoy your week and enjoy the fights.